Once upon a time, in a quiet village surrounded by tall, whispering trees, there lived a young woman named Leela. Leela was 22 years old, and though she looked calm on the outside, her mind was never still. Her thoughts were like a flock of restless birds, always fluttering from one idea to another. Sometimes she worried about the mistakes she had made in the past, sometimes she feared what the future might bring, and often she simply felt tired of thinking. Every morning, she would wake up with 100 thoughts racing through her mind, and every night, she would go to bed feeling restless, unable to sleep peacefully. Layla had forgotten what it felt like to be truly still, to just be. She wanted to feel calm, to enjoy the moment, but no matter what she tried, her mind seemed to have a life of its own. One day, while walking through the village square, she overheard a group of travelers talking. They spoke of a wise old woman who lived high in the hills beyond the forest. People said she had once been a famous meditation teacher in the city and had helped many people find peace in their minds. Now, she had left the busy city life behind and lived quietly among the trees, teaching those who sought her guidance. Leela felt a flicker of hope in her heart. Maybe this woman could help her, she thought. Maybe she could finally learn how to quiet her restless mind. Without hesitation, she decided she would go and meet her. The journey was long and tiring. Leila walked through dense forests, crossed small streams, and climbed steep paths. Sometimes she felt like giving up, but the hope of finding peace kept her moving forward. Finally, after several days, she reached a small clearing where a simple wooden cottage sat. The cottage was covered with vines, and the soft sound of a nearby stream made the place feel calm and inviting. On the porch of the cottage sat the old woman. Her hair was silver, her eyes calm, and her smile gentle. She seemed to glow with a quiet energy, and Leela felt an immediate sense of comfort in her presence. "Grandmother," Leela said softly, bowing slightly, "my mind is never quiet. I am always thinking, worrying, and feeling restless. Can you help me find peace?" The old woman opened her eyes slowly and smiled. "Ah, so you seek to empty your mind," she said. "Come with me. I will give you a small task, but it will teach you something more important than you imagine." She led Leela to a small garden behind her cottage. In the center of the garden was a wooden table, and on the table sat a small bowl filled with water. The water was perfectly still, reflecting the sky above. The old woman handed the bowl to Leela. "Carry this bowl to the edge of the garden and back," she said. "But there is one rule. You must not spill even a single drop." Leila looked at the bowl and then at the old woman, puzzled. "That's all?" she asked. "That is not all," the old woman replied with a gentle smile. "Pay attention carefully to what I am about to show you. This task is more than it seems." Leila took the bowl in her hands, holding it carefully. The water seemed fragile, as if it would shatter with the slightest movement. She began to walk slowly. At first, her mind wandered, thinking about how heavy the bowl felt, about all the other things she should be doing, and about the journey ahead. But soon she realized that if she wanted to succeed, she could not think about anything else. Her mind had to focus only on the water. Step by step, Leela moved forward. She felt the tension in her body, felt her heartbeat, and noticed the subtle movements of the water. Birds were singing, the wind rustled the trees, and a squirrel ran across her path. But she did not see them. She did not hear them. She was entirely present with the bowl in her hands. After what felt like a long walk, Leila returned to the old woman without spilling a drop. She breathed heavily, but there was a strange sense of calm inside her. "You have done well," the old woman said. "But tell me, did you notice the birds singing, the wind moving through the trees, or the squirrel on your path?" Leila thought for a moment. "No," she said slowly. "I did not notice anything else. I was only thinking about the water in the bowl." The old woman nodded. "Exactly. That is the lesson. When your mind focuses fully on one thing, it becomes still. It is not thinking about the past or the future. It is not worrying or fearing. It is simply present. That stillness, that emptiness, is where peace lives. It was always inside you. You just did not know how to reach it. Layla closed her eyes and let the words sink in. She realized that all her worries, all her restless thoughts, came from constantly jumping between the past and the future. The present moment had been there all along, quietly waiting for her to notice it. Over the next few days, the old woman taught Leela simple exercises to practice emptying her mind. Sometimes they would sit in the garden, watching the water in the stream, noticing its movements without labeling them. Sometimes they would walk slowly through the forest, feeling every step, listening to every sound, without thinking about anything else. Layla learned to focus her attention gently, without force, and to let her thoughts drift away like clouds in the sky. At first, it was not easy. Her mind would resist, jumping from thought to thought like a wild horse. But each time she returned to the present moment, she felt a small spark of calm. She realized that peace was not something she had to search for outside. It was already inside her. She only needed to learn how to let go and be fully present. One evening, as the sun dipped behind the hills, Lila sat by the stream, feeling the cool water flow over her fingers. She closed her eyes and allowed herself to simply exist, without thinking, without planning, without worrying. For the first time in years, her mind felt empty, not in a frightening or lonely way, but in a liberating, light way. She felt peace like a gentle breeze passing through her soul. The old woman watched her silently smiling. "You see," she said softly, "emptying the mind is not about stopping thoughts forever. It is about allowing the mind to rest, to notice the present, and to let go of what does not serve you. When you do this, there is no fear, no confusion, no burden from the past or the future. There is only peace." Leela opened her eyes and looked at the sky. She felt different, lighter, calmer, more alive. She bowed her head to the old woman. "Grandmother," she said, "I understand now. I do not need to fight my thoughts. I need to let them go and focus on this moment. This is where peace comes from." The old woman nodded, her eyes shining with warmth. "Remember this, Leela. Whenever your mind feels restless, return to the present. Focus on what is right in front of you, your breath, your steps, the sounds around you. The mind cannot be restless when it is fully present." Layla stayed in the hills for a few more days, practicing this simple yet profound lesson. When she finally returned to her village, she felt transformed. The restless, tired young woman she had been was no longer there. She moved with a gentle awareness, smiled more easily, and felt a calmness that touched every part of her life. Whenever she felt thoughts starting to overwhelm her, she would remember the bowl of water, the careful steps, and the quiet lesson of the old woman in the hills. Slowly, she learned to empty her mind whenever she needed, finding peace not in escaping her thoughts, but in simply being present with them. And so Leela's life changed, not because everything around her changed, but because she learned to change her relationship with her own mind. She realized that true peace is always within reach, as long as we remember to let go, to breathe, and to live in the moment. If you liked this story, please give it a like and share it with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more inspiring stories like this one. Thank you.